Hi, you all. Happy Monday. For your morning work for ELA, you're going to be focusing on the word recognize. So read the sentences and decide which of the answer choices, A, B, C, or D, has the correct meaning as the word recognize is used in the sentence, and then put that letter in the box. For synonyms and antonyms, remember if the words mean the same thing, you put an S, or synonyms. If they mean opposite, you put A for antonyms, because antonyms mean the opposite. Read the two paragraphs. What do you think is most likely to happen next? Read through the answer choices and infer which one would make the most sense based on the previous two paragraphs, and then put that letter choice in the box. For Multiplication Monday, you have already been given the number of groups, which is 4. So inside each group, determine the number of apples and add each group of apples together to find the total sum. So remember, repeated addition is the beginning of multiplication. So find the total number of apples using repeated addition. You're skip counting by threes in this next one to find the missing numbers. Just type the missing numbers in the circle. And then read the sentence to decide if the statement is true or false, and write true or false in the box. And then share with us something that you are most proud of. Your book for this week is Spaghetti in a Hot Dog Bun, which is a story about Lucy and her uniqueness overall, but mostly in regards to her favorite food that she likes to bring for lunch. And then how a classmate responds to that and the actions that unfold from him. So after you've listened to the entire story, you're going to answer the question, who is Ralph playing with or sitting with when you see him in the illustrations? What does this tell you about Ralph? So as you're watching and listening to the story, pay really close attention to the illustrations. The author tells things through pictures just as well as she tells things through words. So pay really close attention to those illustrations. Then finish the sentence starter. Ralph is, and then pick a character trait that would describe Ralph, and then tell me how you know that. So is he popular? Does he have a lot of people that he sits with? Is he often alone? And then what do you think that says about Ralph? He's always around other people. He's well liked. Everyone thinks he's a really nice guy, or he sits by himself a lot. He's not always nice to other people. I don't think he has a lot of friends. Make your inference based on what you hear in the story. The next thing you're going to do is a sort about Lucy. So you're going to be focusing on character traits, which have to do with Lucy's personality. Think about Lucy throughout the entire story, not just in regard to how she reacts to Ralph, but just her personality. And pick the 6 words that have to do with personality and put them in this column. Then focus on feelings. Remember, feelings are fleeting, which means feelings can change. They're a reaction to something that's happening in the story. There are 5 feelings. You're going to slide the 5 feelings into the middle column. And then the last column is physical traits. And these are the outside of the character, what the character looks like. It has to do with the character's body. So look through the different words and slide the correct ones into the physical traits column. Then you're going to make an inference about Lucy. So while that sort is still fresh in your mind and you've really been able to think deeply about Lucy, make an inference about her. I infer Lucy is I would say unique. It would be a word that always comes to mind for me with Lucy. I made this inference because in the story, Lucy enjoys eating a food that very few people have ever probably thought to make. In addition, I don't want to spoil it, but she does something at the end of the story that many people probably wouldn't do in her situation. So she's definitely a unique character. Matching character traits to actions. So this is something that happened in the story, and these are words that are character traits that go with those actions. So Lucy cried because Ralph was teasing her. Focus on Lucy crying. That's the action. And which of these words go with that action? If someone's crying, then and because someone's teasing them and they're not standing up for themselves, they're getting upset, that person is timid. So one of the words that you could choose is timid. Now you see a 2 here. There is another word that has to do with somebody who cries when they're upset, which is, definitely something I do. I am this character trait that is below as well. So make sure you're paying really close attention to the action and trying to find the word that goes with it. If you're not sure what a word means, go to Tools and Dictionary, and that will help you kind of narrow down your choices. Also, if you're not sure, skip it and come back, because if you have a word below and you're missing one, then you know exactly where it goes. Ralph rolled his eyes at Lucy and her friend on the bus. So the action is Ralph rolling his eyes, which is not a good thing. That is a poor thing to do. It's disrespectful and other not so good character traits. So when you're focusing on that action, you're going to be looking for words below that are poor character traits, negative character traits. And then the last one, Lucy confronted Ralph and told him what he did was so mean. So the word confronted means she went up to Ralph and told him what you did was wrong. And there are 3 words below that are character traits for that action, her confronting Ralph. After you've done the sort, you're going to answer the question, how else could Lucy have stood up for herself when she was being bullied? Lucy could have blank. So this is just your opinion. What could she have done? We've done a lot with inferencing, and that's a really important comprehension skill. Another comprehension skill we're going to be working on is connections. So there are 2 different types of connections. A deep connection, which helps you understand the text and the characters. So for example, I felt the way Lucy did when Ralph bullied her. So if you've ever had an experience where someone was rude to you or you've been bullied or something along those lines, then you empathize with that character. You've felt that way before, and immediately you have this connection with this character. But then there are also shallow connections, which are easy to come up with, but do not help you understand the story any better. An example of that could be, my hair is curly like Lucy's hair, or I'm a girl and Lucy's a girl. Though they may be true, they do not help you understand the story or the character any better. So there are 6 connections. 3 of them are deep connections, and 3 of them are shallow connections. So read the connections and drag and drop them in the correct column. The last thing you're doing in reading is you're going to make your own meaningful connection. Now, off to the side here is a little anchor chart. I know it's small, so I put audio. So if you press the audio, I'll read about each type of connection. Text to self means that something happened in the story that happened in your life. So it's a personal connection. Text to text means something in the story reminded you of something in a different story you've read. And then text to world means something in the story reminded you of something that's happening in the world. It could just be your world, like your neighborhood, or it could be something happening in America or a different country. So over here where it says type of connection, text to self, text to text, or text to world, only keep the one you're using. So if you're doing it text to self, maybe you've had an experience where someone's been mean to you, you're going to delete text to world and text to text and just keep text to self there. Then where it's blue, you're going to write your connection. All right, you all, I hope you enjoy the story, and I look forward to seeing all of your work.